We are 22 West Radio, the next wave of K-Beach. 22 West Radio is 22westmedia.com and 88.1 FM KKJZ HD3 Long Beach, Los Angeles.
Good morning, everyone.
And this is episode 57 of Beyond the Ropes. I'm Ethan.
I'm Rob.
Big week, of course. A lot happening leading up to the new Extreme Rules pay-per-view coming up in a couple of weeks for WWE. A few news stories that we'll get throughout the show. But let's start with some Raw results, shall we? Raw started out with Roman Reigns being confronted by Dolph Ziggler, the Intercontinental Champion, and Drew McIntyre. And they eventually had a beatdown on him. And that wasn't until Seth Rollins showed up and made the save. Good little opening segment there. We got to see a lot of Roman Reigns this week because he was already scheduled for a tag team match with teaming with Bobby Lashley on a rematch, taking on the Revival for the third week in a row. And so that was the original plan. Those plans did change because, they kind of stayed the same, but he eventually got booked into another match, teaming up with Seth Rollins, taking on Ziggler and McIntyre. So we got to see Roman Reigns a number of times throughout the show, which fans were complaining about on social media, but, you know, it is what it is. The first match was Curtis Axel taking on Vulcan Matt Hardy, and Vulcan Matt Hardy was on his own this week. As some of you may have heard, there was an incident last Friday.
Wow.
It was a car accident, correct? It was like a full-on car accident that Matt Hardy's tag partner, Bray Wyatt, was in. Luckily, there was no serious damage. I believe he's getting checked out tomorrow.
Yeah,
he's already home.
The car was I guess messed up.
It was totaled. Well,
wow.
Yeah, it was messed up, but it was also totaled, I think, from what I heard. I don't know, I could be wrong.
You know, this doesn't look good considering that, I don't know, I feel like maybe things are falling apart for him in his personal life, perhaps, because, a few months ago his wife wanted a divorce?
Yeah, there was an issue with that a while ago, and I think they were already divorced or getting through that process. She wanted child support because Bray Wyatt wasn't paying child support.
And that was very interesting how resourceful her lawyer has been. Apparently, there's been issue with, they want to know exactly how much revenue he actually gets.
Right.
And, it's complicated with WWE. You got different sources. It's not just your contract, but you get a portion of, your merch and stuff.
A portion of the merch and whatever bonuses that he gets throughout the year for, pay-per-views and stuff like that.
And I had no idea who Bray was seeing on the side.
Yeah. You didn't know that? It was JoJo, the announcer for Monday Night Raw.
JoJo likes to go for top people.
Yeah. So, I mean, they've been going out for a while already. It's been probably over a year at least.
Wow.
That they've been together. I believe she was involved in that crash too, right?
Oh, man.
Because she wasn't there on Monday Night Raw. It was, forgetting his name, but it wasn't JoJo that was doing the announcing for Raw, so. But anyways, back to Axel and Hardy. Axel picked up another victory on Matt Hardy, much like he did last week, so the B team, Dallas and Axel, have been kind of on a roll lately.
It's great for them, considering they've, pretty much have been jobbers for the longest.
They've been kind of Miz's lackeys for over a year, and then finally when he got traded to SmackDown, this gave them the opportunity to finally get built. I, however, don't see them winning those tag team titles off Matt and Bray. I think they'll suffer their first defeat at Extreme Rules, so. Of course, we are always on you now. Right now, with the hashtag
Ask Questions.
And on Facebook.com/Beyond the Ropes, where you can find our videos that we record and any additional posts. I did make some corrections for last week's episode. After the show there. So you can always catch us there. Um, in a shocking, maybe the biggest comeback of all time, I'm sure you heard about this. Um, Bailey had to go to therapy, and Sasha was there too, to go see counseling, I guess, to mend their friendship, and it was the long anticipated return of Dr. Shelby. Obviously, Dr. Shelby is famous for getting together another popular tag team that just reunited, Team Hell No, Daniel Bryan and Kane, and they had a couple of segments throughout the night. And it was funny because his office featured a picture of Daniel Bryan and Kane together, so showing kind of his past work. Um, and yeah, it was really fun to see. They did a few segments and it was really funny. Um, and the crowd loved it, and social media was buzzing all about Dr. Shelby's return. And so I guess we'll be looking forward to seeing Dr. Shelby around for a few more weeks at least, by the looks of it, because it looks like to be continued. The way the overall, I guess, segments ended was with Dr. Shelby kind of getting angry and shouting and stuff. He's kind of like, they kind of broke him in a way. So we'll see what he has in store for us next week. The Authors of Pain, in another match, after being away for several weeks, they returned last week. And this week they took on Titus Worldwide, the team of Titus O'Neil and Apollo Crews. And Authors of Pain picked up the victory in a dominating fashion. I don't think Titus even made a tag in the match. It was total decimation. And the Authors of Pain could be next contenders for those Raw Tag Team titles. So Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins took on Dolph and Drew McIntyre, and it was there's a typo on WWE.com's website. It says Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins defeated Intercontinental Champion Dolph Ziggler and Roman Reigns. Oh Lord, someone fire their editor or something. But yeah, Roman and Seth defeated Dolph and McIntyre by disqualification because the Revival got involved and attacked them, and it was a really solid match. And the Revival obviously looking to take out Roman Reigns for their match later on in the night. And so they did just that. They hit a Shatter Machine on Roman. And then Ziggler and McIntyre hit the Claymore / zigzag combination that they do on Seth. So looks like there's unfinished business there. We did get confirmation that there will be a 30-minute Iron Man match between Dolph Ziggler and Seth Rollins for the Intercontinental Championship at Extreme Rules. So that should be a show-stealing match if it's anything like their last match. So Constable Baron Corbin came out demanding an apology from Finn Balor after Finn's comments and actions for last week's main event match. However, Finn didn't do that, and it ultimately led to a little brawl between the two. Finn got the upper hand, and it looks like we may be getting a match between those two at Extreme Rules. Maybe next week on Raw. They've kind of been going back and forth on Twitter, hitting a lot of shots at each other, and it's been really funny to really follow that story online. Ember Moon took on Liv Morgan. We did find out that Ruby Riott was injured.
Wow. Like what, 2 weeks? She's gonna be out, I think, at least 2 weeks.
It might be more. There was an MCL injury. It's an MCL injury, so she could be out. It depends how serious it is. For more than that, I did not read how many weeks she's gonna be out.
2 to 6. The spring.
Yeah, it's spring. Yeah. So she'll be out. She was already out this week, and I believe. No, I think she was there last week. So she'll be out. For
her, she's like in a faction, so she could be like Bobby Fish and still kind of like.
Yeah, I don't know if she'll be on TV though. They did her without TV this week. It was funny because Elias was backstage, and then we see Liv and Sarah Logan hit backstage and ask if he was gonna play a song out there, and he said, "For this city, no." And he said, "But I would play you guys a song," and so he kind of played his guitar while they wreaked havoc and tossed everything around backstage and stuff as they headed out to the ring. But yes, Ember Moon picked up the victory against Liv Morgan. Liv is improving in the ring because she was still very much green when she first came to the main roster. She's very improving. Ember is still looking great. Hopefully we'll see a women's title around her sometime soon. But with the current kind of women's title picture, that may not be the case, considering we've kind of already figured out Alexa Bliss's contenders for the next few pay-per-views. Roman Reigns and Bobby Lashley teamed up to take on the Revival. Once again, a disqualification ensued as no, is that right? I don't know if WWE is doing that right. Oh, okay, that's right. Yeah, the Revival attacked Reigns, and kind of Lashley just left him hanging, essentially because Roman wasn't tagging at all. Roman wanted to do all the work, and so Lashley and Reigns won by disqualification after the Revival kept on attacking Reigns. And so we found out that it'll be Lashley versus Reigns at the Extreme Rules. So no stipulation yet. I don't know if we'll get one, but we did get a couple of other stipulations, especially in the women's division, which we'll get to in a little bit. No Way Jose and Mojo Rawley brawled, so we may get something between those two. It seems like they're really trying to push Mojo Rawley into this top heel, or at least upper mid-card heel position, because he keeps attacking No Way Jose and his kind of party that he brings along the Conga line. And so we'll see where that goes. Nia Jax came out to take on Mickie James, and we found out that the match between Alexa Bliss and Nia Jax for the Raw Women's Championship will now be an Extreme Rules match. So that's the only Extreme Rules match that we're getting so far. But Nia Jax defeated Mickie James, hitting a dominant Samoan drop on her. And in the main event, throughout the show, we got to see Kevin Owens kind of arrive. We saw him arrive with his rental car and head cautiously into the arena, and throughout the night to ask Kurt to kind of keep Strowman away from him, and then eventually led to Kurt putting Owens in a match against Strowman. As the match was kind of going on, Owens left the ring and got counted out and headed to his rental car, but he forgot his keys. And there was a porta potty. I don't know if you saw this, but there was a porta potty near his rental car, and he hid in there. And Braun found out, doing kind of asking if there was someone in the porta potty in his best woman voice. And then he tied up the porta potty with duct tape and pulled it all the way to the stage, and then threw it off the stage, leaving Owens covered in blue ink. I don't know why there was blue paint in the porta potty, but that's how Raw ended. Strowman just keeps destroying Kevin Owens in every imaginable way possible. So that was Monday Night Raw. It was a decent show. I feel like there's just something missing. I don't know if they're just kind of spinning the wheels until SummerSlam. We did find out that Ronda Rousey was going to be in attendance front row at Extreme Rules, so she may get involved in that Extreme Rules match for the women's title. But we'll see, we'll wait and see how that goes, I guess. Should we head into a commercial break?
Yeah.
Just about time, so we'll be right back after this commercial break.
Affordable, professional, and located on the second floor of the USU. Electric Hair has all of your nail and hair needs covered. For an appointment, call 562-958-4522. That's 562-958-4522.
You are now tuned in to 22 West Radio, the next wave of K-Beach. If you would like to stay tuned in, please download our new host app, Radio FX.
Quiet on the set. Can we please have quiet on the set?
Hey,
I'm Rob Flores, the host of the Golden Spotlight. Join me as I showcase a variety of guests.
I am what they refer to as an exoneree.
Hi, I am Carla Perez, otherwise known as Rita Repulsa, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, the television series.
As people have told me before, like, you're really funny, you should try stand-up. And that's probably how every comedian starts.
Took an EMT course 6 months later, and the next thing I know, I was a firefighter.
Then I do all my own music videos, I edit my music videos, I write the concepts for the most part, I direct the filming of it, etc. So I have a blast with it.
Every week, someone steps into the spotlight, and it's always a new story. So join me every Monday at 2 p.m. on 22 West Radio. You never know what we have in store.
And we're back with Beyond the Ropes, episode 57. I'm Ethan.
I'm Rob.
And as always, you can find us on Facebook, facebook.com/Beyond the Ropes, where you can give us a like there and watch our videos that are posted, any comments or posts that we make, predictions, and anything that we need to post on there. It was 4th of July yesterday, so did you do anything for the Independence Day holiday?
No, I just kicked it like a bum at home.
That's what I was planning to do. That's what I was planning to do, and then I got invited to a barbecue. So, and then we saw fireworks everywhere, you know. But yeah, I saw a number of wrestling-related posts. Obviously, Hulk Hogan and stuff with the Real American theme song and such. But yeah, it was really cool. And SmackDown had a very themed episode of, you know, for their Independence Day episode. Are we now on Periscope now too?
No, we're on a different one I'm experimenting with because the Periscope don't work right now.
No.
This one's called Live.me or Live Me, something like that.
Okay, Live.
Yeah.
Live Me. How can people find us there?
I just put Live Pro Wrestling Show.
All right.
But I don't know what happened to the brick we used for our ghetto tripod.
For a ghetto tripod. Yeah, so we are now on Live Me or Live.me. And you could search up Live Pro Wrestling, as Rob mentioned. And of course, we are always on You Now with the hashtag
Ask Questions. We already have some hearts coming in. That's
All right,
cool.
thank you for tuning in, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get into some SmackDown Live results. Obviously, like I mentioned, a United States themed episode. We opened the show with Renee Young and Team Hell No. Obviously, last week, Kane made their save and returned to help his former tag team partner, Daniel Bryan, as the Bludgeon Brothers were attacking him. And it was funny because Kane said that he always had Daniel Bryan's back, but then Bryan mentioned a number of things that Kane did to him, including attempting to end his career and trying to kidnap his wife. After the fact that they had broken up as a team, yeah, that was an ongoing issue throughout the night. The Usos came out and said, you know, were arguing that they didn't deserve a tag team title match, and they got their tag team title match because they hugged it out, and so the Usos hugged each other out for like 4 times and said now they get 4 opportunities for championships.
Wow.
And then Paige made the match for the main event. The Usos taking
I heard
on...
Paige got a tattoo.
Yeah, she had a new tattoo on her torso.
That thing's huge.
Yeah.
I wonder if that covered Alberto.
Is that where... I think that might have been where it's at.
No,
Or was it? Yeah, but it was a huge... She got a new... Yeah. She shared that last week, I believe, on Instagram, so...
Wow.
Yeah. But yeah, she made the match, the main event. The Usos taking on Team Hell No. And if the Usos won, they would be added to the SmackDown Tag Team title match at Extreme Rules. The opening contest was the Independence Day United States Open Challenge, as Jeff Hardy came out with his red, white, and blue face paint and his kind of red, white, and blue attire. He had the blue sleeves, and then under he had this red and blue kind of sleeves that he wears.
I mean, I'm surprised he's right away competing. I mean, considering if he's banged up, they would have like kind of kept him fresh until like the pay-per-view.
He's still wrestling week in and week out. He probably isn't gonna... I mean, the Extreme Rules is like a week and a half away, so he might end up losing that title. to his opponent, which we'll announce right after this match. But solid match because we found out that the challenger ended up being The Miz, and The Miz wasn't too happy because he found out some news earlier this week about his former Cleveland Cavalier, LeBron James, going to Los Angeles. Obviously, Miz is a big Cleveland fan, even though he is living in Hollywood now. And so Miz was pretty bummed out on social media, if you follow him there.
Woo, more hearts coming in.
Thank you for giving us those hearts on live.me, right?
Yeah.
Alright. And solid match. Jeff hit the Swanton Bomb, defeating The Miz. I know he hasn't been using that move in live events to win the matches because of his injury, which we still don't know the severity of it. I mean, if he's still wrestling, it's not. I would assume it's not that serious.
Wow.
But who knows? He might be taking time off after Extreme Rules. So we'll just have to wait and see how that goes.
It's funny how there's obviously there's all these terminology that people like to use in wrestling, but Jeff's always been referred to as Spot Monkey.
Yeah, that's what, especially his brother, his Woken brother, Matt Hardy, is always referred to as Spot Monkey. Jeff has always been known as the risk taker and high flyer and everything, doing just crazy stuff. But yes, we found out that he would defend the United States Championship against Shinsuke Nakamura at Extreme Rules. So Shinsuke will be getting his title match that he was supposed to get last week. Obviously, with he's currently injured as well. That was a pretty bad injury. He was in Tokyo, or in Japan. He was on the tour, but he was walking around in a crutch. So we got to see that, and he'll be getting his title opportunity at Extreme Rules. Next up, we got the New Day in the 3rd of July pancake eating contest. So each member of the New Day came out and they were going to eat a red, white, and blue different pancakes. And they were going to do it in like 5 minutes. And they started to do it until the lights came out. And then we got Sanity's music. And then Sanity attacked them from behind and absolutely decimated the New Day. And this was the right way. This is how they should have made their debut. Just absolutely decimating the New Day. They put Xavier Woods through a table, and it really made the Sanity look strong. I would think this is going to lead to a match either at Extreme Rules or SummerSlam if they want to extend it. They just don't have space for Extreme Rules. So we'll see how that goes. But hopefully Sanity picks up a victory because they only have one match under their belt, and they haven't won it. So this is a good thing for Sanity, though. New Day vs. Sanity should be a fun feud. Then we got to see the Battle of the Sexes between Asuka taking on James Ellsworth. Ellsworth came out wearing a shirt saying no one is ready for Ellsworth, kind of mocking Asuka's catchphrase. And it was a really, really fun short match. Asuka got a couple of kicks in and really heavy shots on Ellsworth, but ultimately Ellsworth ended up running away, and it was a double countout. And as they were returning to the ring, Carmella pushed Asuka into the barricade, leaving her lying on the floor and getting the last laugh of the night. WWE Champion AJ Styles took on Aiden English in what was a relatively quick match, but ended up getting the victory over the Songbird, as he's been known. He made English tap out with the calf crusher, and then it was Rusev who attacked Styles after the match, putting him in the accolade. So, what are your thoughts on Rusev and Styles this match? Do you think Rusev has a chance, or do you think Styles is going to keep
for the title?
Yeah.
Wow, I mean, yeah, Rusev hasn't had much going on since.
This is his first one-on-one opportunity for the WWE title. It was noted. So.
I don't know. I think there would be longer Joe story going on for about than Rusev grabbing it. Even though it'd be cool if Rusev did have a title run, but
Joe was not on this week's SmackDown. I believe he wasn't. So yeah, the rumors are rumbling that Joe would be the next contender for title, and Styles is actually. I believe he's kind of breaking records. He's surpassing a few superstars for the longest WWE title reign.
I know, it would be cool if they saved the Joe thing for Mania. I mean, they got history.
Yeah, I don't know. There's not too many contenders for Styles right now.
And another Joe potential that people have been talking about is Joe and Cena because they have footage of like OVW.
Yeah, that's right. I think they were supposed to do that for WrestleMania.
Yeah. And
those plans changed because they wanted Taker. And so Joe wasn't even on the card. No, he wasn't even on WrestleMania this year, unfortunately. So hopefully Joe will get on that card next year. But
I like this app even more. We get even more hearts here. I guess more people are starting to come to this one now.
Yeah, well, thank you for giving us those hearts. In the women's division, Becky Lynch took on Peyton Royce in a relatively quick match. Becky Lynch picked up the victory, and she's been on a winning streak. So you'd have to think that maybe at SummerSlam she'll get that women's title match, that she's been wanting. So we'll wait and see. And in the main event, Team Hell No defeated the Usos as Kane hit a chokeslam on Jey Uso for the victory. And the night ended with the Bludgeon Brothers coming out and posing in the ring on the entrance ramp as they kind of had a stare down with Team Hell No. So that was SmackDown. Solid episode of SmackDown. Yeah, hopefully we'll get more. I was starting to catch up on 205.
Yeah.
But I didn't see this week's. So I saw it up to last week. So.
Leo confronted Tozawa.
Oh, so that'll be his first feud.
Yeah,
that should be a really good match.
He just sat outside during the match, and he just told him about how let's see when he's ready to face him because ever since Akira lost the Cruiserweight title, he's going nowhere. Yeah, I mean, that should be a good feud. Oh yeah, and then the Dream had a match against this big dude. It was a little bit of a challenge for him, but the Dream came on top.
Who? The Dream?
Some big guy competed against him.
The Dream?
Yeah. Velveteen Dream.
Oh, Velveteen Dream. Oh, for NXT, okay.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It's a different show. I'm like, who are you?
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't see this week's NXT either. I'm going to catch up on that today. But yeah, there was some 3 big matches, actually. It was Velveteen Dream.
Oh, 205. Yeah, I forgot. There's one more.
Yeah. Well, go back to 205. Oh,
what's the name? The big guy. The big one? Yeah, that's the match.
The no disqualification, Buddy Murphy and Mustafa Ali had I heard it was a really, really good match.
Suplex. Those
matches on 205 Live in recent months have just been so good. Yeah, I'm definitely going to watch 205 Live today.
That was a huge high-risk move that he took. Mustafa had Buddy on the turnbuckle, and he propped the steel steps up, and he walked on the step. Oh, man, that was like a wow.
Yeah, that's crazy. Noam Dar made his return.
Pinkies!
Well. That's right.
King Booker.
He defeated TJP after TJP wanted some competition, correct? So I know that. I was hoping they would keep Noam Dar off TV.
I know. I would have preferred if it was Gulak. Because he kept calling himself the best technical, and he mentions it's tap-out time.
Right. But I was hoping they kept off Noam Dar from 205 because he made his return in the UK championship tournament. And he's the #1 contender for the UK title now. And so I was hoping with the new NXT UK coming up later this month, at least the tapings are. I don't know when we're going to get the actual, episodes, but I was hoping that they would just keep him on there kind of as a restart for his, career. But it looks like he'll be on 205 Live and maybe going back and forth in the UK division, which is good for him. And he's looking in incredible shape too. WWE Hall of Famer had surgery this week.
Oh yeah.
Ricky the Dragon Steamboat had. Was it hip surgery?
Yeah.
It was hip surgery. Oh, that's what I thought. Okay. He seems to be doing well. He was on Twitter and he thanked everyone.
How long ago was that time that he had a match against? I think it was Jericho.
That was WrestleMania 25, and then it was Backlash. It was a 3-on-1 handicap match Jericho had with Piper, Snuka, and Steamboat, and then it was the following pay-per-view with just Steamboat, and that was Steamboat's last match in the WWE, and I don't know if it was his last match ever, but it was the last one in WWE.
He had pulled off a moonsault.
Yeah, he was skinning the cat, going over the ropes. He was doing the cross bodies, the arm drags, like the old days. Yeah, he was still doing quite a bit. And he just had hip surgery, so well wishes to him. He seems to be doing well. He was on Twitter, like I said, thanking everyone. And he seems to be doing well there. So, a lot of buzz coming from a Daniel Bryan interview earlier this week.
Oh, it's about storylines?
Saying he has zero faith in WWE creative, which is starting to fuel the fire that, his contract is coming up very soon, and there's question on whether he'll re-sign or not.
Yeah, he should let it expire.
I don't know, is that the best thing to do? Do you think?
Yeah.
Well,
right now there's a lot of buzz, and I mean, it could do great things for New Japan.
It could, but is it safe for him? WWE's trying to keep him safe.
Mm-hmm.
Relatively, which is why they're putting them in.
I mean, I don't know. People trying to come back to WWE get injured. I mean, Sting.
I mean, yeah, but WWE has certain limits. New Japan, they'll do whatever they want, essentially. WWE bans pile drivers and stuff. New Japan, they do that all the time. Every other move I see, I was watching New Japan, and every other move, everyone's landing on their head. So many times, Daniel can't do that.
I mean, that's the only place that you'll see some way out there haircuts too.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I thought Enzo's hair was.
Yeah. There was a couple of unique. I actually have Jericho versus Naito recorded on my DVR, so I gotta watch that.
Oh,
the the Intercontinental. I gotta watch that. I was watching
like
Ospreay.
That promo.
The Jericho one after.
Yeah. I mean, I did not know that Naito the whole time that he had the Intercontinental belt. He never walked out with it.
I don't know if that was right there, but that might have been his previous run, because he would destroy the title. He destroyed literally, bang the title against the ring post, and he didn't want to be the Intercontinental Champion. He wanted the world title. So, but yeah, Jericho said he's gonna hold it with pride and respect, and actually, carry that title around.
Oh, man.
And actually, he's gonna buy a seat, first class, and put the title next to him. The title would have his own seat. So
I can't believe he said he'd take a dump with his belt. That's how much he'd be bonding with his
yeah,
belt.
That's right. So I'm gonna watch that too. A lot of wrestling to catch up to this weekend. And we found out there was a ride along this week. Rusev on the WWE Network. Have you been watching? No,
I haven't yet.
Okay, well you gotta watch those.
I've been trying to watch something to wrestle with.
I haven't seen those. I've kind of stayed away from those. But there was a new ride along this week with Rusev Day, Lana, Rusev, and Aiden English, and then the Iconics, Billy Kay and Peyton Royce. Really, really funny from both sides. But we found out that Vince was the one that told Rusev that he was going to have the match with The Undertaker at the Greatest Royal Rumble. And Rusev laughed in his face, which is why he originally got pulled out from the match, because Vince, was not happy about that. But the reason he was brought back in was because I guess the prince of Saudi Arabia wanted Rusev in that match or whatever, so that's why they put him back in. So needless to say, don't laugh in Vince's face, in your boss's face.
The slightest thing pisses off Vince. I mean, just when Titus has put his hand on his shoulder, that's it. The boss gets pissed.
I mean, but you shouldn't be. It's me making that
noise.
Oh,
okay. I was like,
I know, there's noise, man. It's me. I'll stop messing with it. But I mean, you really shouldn't be laughing in your boss's face either. There's a certain, you gotta have some respect. Yeah, so, I mean, he ended up getting the match and stuff, but good episode of Ride Along. Have you seen the Hardys 24?
I did. That was really something. I didn't realize Matt had just as much substance abuse as Jeff did in the past.
Yeah, it wasn't as noted because most of it was outside of WWE.
Mm-hmm.
Some of it was obviously during his TNA run, his first run, but most of it was kind of during his indie stuff, and he was like doing Ring of Honor and indie work, and obviously his wife Rebby, at the time girlfriend, I didn't realize either how much impact she had on helping him get in line and stuff. And obviously he's doing a lot better now. Obviously he has kids, Lord Wolfgang and King Maxwell.
Yeah, I was wondering why was it that there's a mugshot of like the both of them. Like,
yeah, because he got arrested too, and he had to go to rehab and stuff.
yeah.
Jeff obviously had an incident earlier this year that was also made aware of.
Yeah, that one was, I think, was it just alcohol?
That one, yeah, I would think it was a little DUI, which he has to do. I think he said, or it was posted later on that he had to do, certain hour of community service and all that. So
I can't believe they even involved like the detective, I guess, in that one.
They got they really did a good job with this one because they really went above and beyond to get, not only footage from the Hardy show because they had their own web series for a while, but footage from the Global Wrestling Network, which is Impact Wrestling's footage that they've been using for a few different other programs.
Wow.
So it's kind of like double promotion. They've really had a kind of a teamwork there.
And that TNA library is very valuable if they were to acquire the rest of it.
I mean, yeah, they have footage from AJ Styles, Samoa Joe, Bobby Roode, Eric Young, the Hardys, obviously, especially the Vulcan stuff, which they have been using on the network, and so much more. I mean, they could get footage from past legends that have been there. That Dusty Rhodes has been there, Hulk Hogan. Everyone's kind of had a brief run there.
We should probably take our second commercial break.
All right, we'll be right back.
Delivering the dish on nutrition one bite at a time. We are Foodology Radio.
I've always been curious about
Join
this
us
one.
Tuesdays
This
at
is
noon
food.
for an exciting blend of nutrition expert panel
The promo.
discussions on the most hot button food issues
Yeah.
and trends of the day.
I'm like, I've never heard
Tune in
it.
to hear the facts on nutrition, receive dietary tips, have us answer your own personal food questions, and much more. That's Tuesdays at noon on 88.1 FM, 22 West Radio.
Huh, that's cool.
Did you know that more than 20% of students on Cal State campuses experience food insecurity while in college? Cal State Long Beach is doing something to help that with the Beach Pantry, which is located on the 3rd floor of the Student Union in room 302 and is open Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. and again from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. Stop by for some food, snacks, and school supplies.
Did you know that 71% of students at Long Beach State receive financial aid? In 2016, Long Beach State awarded $12.3 million in scholarships. Not only that, each year more than 1,500 students are served by Disabled Student Services, leaving no barriers in their path to an education. At the beach, we know no barriers. It's a philosophy that applies to everything we do.
Cool. And we are back with episode 57 of Beyond the Ropes. I'm Ethan.
I'm Rob.
And as always, facebook.com/Beyond the Ropes, where you can find videos, posts, predictions, and any additional content we want to post on there. We are currently on live.me or live.me. And how can they find us there?
Live Pro Wrestling Show.
And of course, you now with the hashtag
Ask Questions.
So, we got through our Monday Night Raw and SmackDown predictions. We talked a brief minute about 205 and NXT. How was NXT? How were the other matches in NXT?
So Belair, she had a
Belair.
little like promo where she was, I guess, on a cruise celebrating her wedding. Whoa, that's a first.
Yeah, phone call.
We'll
ignore that.
Yeah, so she was talking about how
she got married.
Yeah.
With Montez Ford,
Who's
who's part of the Street Profits.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's cool. But yeah, she was just basically talking smack to every one of the divas there, the women, the competitors.
The women.
Pretty much talking about how she's better than them.
That's funny.
But wow, she is the most dominant.
Right now, they're making her out to be behind Shayna Baszler.
Yeah.
I mean, Shayna Baszler is obviously
but not
the
even
top dog.
Shayna does that. With
Well, in terms of strength,
wow.
yeah, she's probably the most powerful woman in the NXT Women's division right now. Yeah, absolutely. So that's good for her. She got some promo time.
Oh, did you hear about Awesome Kong?
No. Oh, there was Glow last week. But go ahead. Continue.
She was just talking about how I guess when she went to New Japan, the name Kong was brought up to her, and at first she thought it was kind of racist, because obviously when you go into wrestling, you can't pick your name usually. The company does.
Yeah, it depends. Yeah. That's.
Shinsuke, I think she says, approached her with the name Kong. But then she, obviously referred to how in NWA, the rap group, they were okay with derogatizing themselves kind of
yeah.
And so she learned to embrace the word Kong and made Awesome Kong or Amazing Kong, and she brought it to the U.S. She was cool with still referring to herself as Kong.
Yeah. I mean, if you think about it, Kong or King Kong, as we're referring to, is a very big deal. I mean, there have been several movies based on that character, and so it's a well-respected character. So there's it could definitely be seen as kind of a serious matter, in a way. You don't want to offend anybody, but at the same time, it also kind of is a term of endearment in a way.
Yeah.
Especially when you have that look to you, in terms of size and stuff. So it separates you from everyone else. So.
Did you hear about Jazz?
No. What about her?
She was just talking about how in her early days she tried to approach China and China wouldn't shake her hand.
Yeah, I don't know. There's various stories we hear about a number of superstars. So I don't know. Maybe China wasn't in the mood that day. I don't know. We can't. We'll never know with China. Obviously, she's no longer with us. So, but yeah, I wanted to mention Glow. Now that I just remembered. Obviously, Glow is a famous pro wrestling show in the 80s, and it was rebooted last year as kind of more of a, not sitcom, but one of those one camera shows that they do. Netflix revived it last year, and it gained a lot of popularity with 10 episodes, I believe, and then it got renewed shortly after for its second season. Last year, a number of independent wrestlers, former WWE superstars, and TNA wrestlers made appearances. I mean, we saw
Carlito.
We saw Tyrus, who was Brodus Clay in WWE. We saw John Morrison, or Johnny Mundo, or Johnny Impact, whatever you want to call him. Chavo, I believe, was there last season 2. Alex Riley, who was in WWE, was there. Christopher Daniels and Kazarian were there. I'm probably forgetting maybe a couple more. I think Joey Ryan was there. So there was a number of individuals that made cameos. This season was a little different. So last season, the show ended, without giving away any big spoilers, it ended with kind of their pilot episode of the actual show, within the show, whatever. And so this season, it was kind of a weekly show, kind of like what you see for Raw and SmackDown. So every episode kind of dealt with a different week, whatever. But it was a really solid season. I saw it all in one day, kind of a binge watched it. We only got to see a few cameos this season, but it was nonetheless, everyone else, like the acting was great. I'm not going to be surprised if it gets renewed for its third season. Hopefully it does. Another solid 10 episodes. The wrestling seemed to be a little bit better, I think. They took it a little more serious. There was some more kind of like issues, that they dealt with, sexism and, issues that you dealt with in the 80s. And so, a really solid show. So if you have Netflix, I would recommend watching season 2 of Glow. And if you haven't seen the first season, go watch that, of course. It's a very enjoyable show, even if you don't, watch wrestling, it's fun to look at kind of that process of making a wrestling show.
I saw that picture of Chavo, and it's nice to see that Chavo is finally in it. I haven't seen the second season, but considering that Chavo's family, one of his uncles trained the women.
Absolutely, it was the Guerrero name. It's a big family, in pro wrestling, especially Lucha Libre, and it was a big deal. He got his own little spotlight at the in one of the episodes. So, don't want to give away anything too much. There was one episode actually that I will say was kind of shot entirely as an episode of Glow, like an actual episode, not like, they only show a part of, the actual show. They actually did an episode where it was like you were actually watching Glow, no additional stuff. It was just, promos, and then they had like their brief matches and stuff. It felt like an actual episode, which was really cool because they didn't do that last season, as far as I remember. So, really cool. Check it out. Glow on Netflix just came out. And it's a wrestling show, so obviously we're going to mention it here. I'm glad I remembered that. But we're getting close to our last few minutes here. Any other news that we missed or should get to? Some previews. Next week is the final week before Extreme Rules. So next week we should be giving our predictions. We should be on the air next week. But yeah, so Extreme Rules, some of the matches that we have so far. I guess we could get to Roman Reigns taking on Bobby Lashley. We have Seth Rollins taking on Dolph Ziggler for the Intercontinental Championship in a 30-minute Iron Man match. The Raw Tag Team Champions are on the line as the leaders of Worlds, Bray Wyatt and Woken Matt Hardy, will take on Curtis Axel and Bo Dallas, the B Team. We will be seeing an Extreme Rules match between Alexa Bliss and Nia Jax for the Raw Women's Championship, with Ronda Rousey being in ringside. She did say that even though she was suspended from Raw, she was not suspended from Extreme Rules, so she will be front row, and that has been said by the commentators. And then on the SmackDown side, we're going to get Shinsuke Nakamura getting his United States Championship opportunity, taking on Jeff Hardy. We're going to have the SmackDown Tag Team Championships being defended as the Bludgeon Brothers take on the reunited Team Hell No. And then we have Asuka taking on Carmella for the SmackDown Women's Championship. Hopefully she'll get her revenge. And obviously AJ Styles will take on Rusev for the WWE Championship. I think I got all those matches. Could be missing one or two, but we'll see. Obviously, more will probably be announced later this week or next week. We do have a kickoff show that's probably going to happen. WWE pay-per-views are now 4 hours long, so they've got to, stack the card. I don't know if we talked about it last week, but NXT takeovers are now going to start an hour earlier. It doesn't mean that they're going to get longer. It just means that they're going to start earlier to coincide with the WWE pay-per-views. Now that they're starting at 4 o'clock.
Like room for more matches?
No, I think it's just they just want to start at the same time. So, for us, we're on the West Coast. WWE pay-per-views are now at 4 o'clock. They start at 4 o'clock. The pre-show is like at 3 o'clock now. So NXT is now going to start at 4 o'clock. The takeovers. So, because they started at 5, so now they're going to just go start at 4, and it's still going to probably be the same time. 2.5 hours, maybe 3 hours, but not 4 hours like the main roster. So should be good. Got to catch up on NXT. You obviously have the network, so
yeah,
you should
something to wrestle with. It's a pretty cool show. It's very interesting. I haven't had a chance to catch up with all of them yet, but there's one episode where they totally dissect the book of Vince Russo.
Oh wow, very controversial figure.
He apparently took credit for a lot of things, and Bruce Pritchard pretty much cleared the air.
Really?
For instance, it turns out Vince Russo wanted to take credit for the DX invasion in WCW, it wasn't the case.
That wasn't the case.
So they would show footage of Bruce Pritchard walking around with DX the whole time. He produced the whole thing.
Oh, wow.
And he was like pretty much like throwing everybody under the bus and saying that Bruce Pritchard was like jealous of him and stuff.
Oh my god.
But yeah, he'll contradict himself, say Bruce Pritchard introduced him to Vince and stuff.
That's funny. All right, so I mean, there's that. You've got something else to wrestle.
Mm-hmm.
You've got WWE 24, the Woken Hardys.
Yeah, the Hardys. I saw the table for not all of it. I missed like the last 10 minutes though. But the table for 3 of the ENC and the Hardys.
That's right, the table for 4 episode, the only table for 4 episode. That was a good episode.
Yeah.
Obviously, table for 3. I don't think there's been a recent one. I think that might have been the most recent one.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, 24 with the Hardys.
Yeah. But they reminisce quite a bit about TLC.
Yeah, as always. Yeah, that's a big deal, definitely. Ride Along got a new episode this week. More episodes to coming soon. The Edge and Christian show is coming back this fall, so that was a good show. So
long overdue.
Yeah, the NXT brand, obviously 205 Live. You've got so much to look forward to on the network. And maybe one of these weeks we'll do a review on something. Maybe we'll watch something and then kind of do maybe a pay-per-view review, like an old school pay-per-view or something, or we could just like review it on this show. So we'll see. We're always looking for innovative ways to add new stuff for our show, and we're getting ready to head out here. So as always, you can find us facebook.com/BeyondTheRopes. Give us a like there. We'll post videos that we're obviously recording right now, and predictions and any additional content. We are always on YouNow, and we are currently on live.me, which we may be using in the future. We'll let you know. You can find us on Twitter at EthanNB95 is mine, and
Rob Flores Media
for Rob. And as always, thank you very much for tuning in. This episode has been too sweet.